We talk about branding in business all the time, but if you have that mission and you're so clear, then that's how you build your brand, right? So you don't have to worry about the mechanics of building a brand because you are the brand. Your energy, the way that you portray yourself is going to be the brand at the end of the day. And that's going to attract the people towards you. We stay stuck and we become a bottleneck of our business because, again, we try to try things and then they don't work. And then you go back to safety zone, like comfort zone. It's like, well, then you create the stories like, oh, it doesn't work. I'm not good with people. I invested in this thing and didn't pay out. So instead of doing that, turning everything into lessons, because there's always a lesson. Maybe you're not ready. You didn't have the level of awareness yet to understand like that, was not the right move. But honestly, the biggest thing I've seen is self-awareness, you knowing where you are strong at, and then getting other people to compliment you, especially in today's world. I think the most smartest thing that you can do in business is know yourself. Because the more you know what are your top strengths and where is your main gift, the more you can bring about other people to complement your abilities as well. That's what makes a great leader.
Hey, guys, it is Allison. I am the host of your show, Allison Answers Mission Awake. I cannot wait to sit down with you today and go over how we are going to crush the mediocrity in your life that has been plaguing our society since the beginning of time. I cannot wait to have a real deal conversation that includes intelligence, fun, excitement, and real actionable steps to make a real difference in the life that you're living now and making it into something you can be damn proud of and excited to live. Sit down, put on your damn seatbelt, and get ready for the ride of your life. Hey, guys, how are you today? It is Allison from Allison Answers. I'm interested in the guest I'm having on today. Her name is Elona Lopari. She's known as the business catalyst. She helps elite business owners and organizations become game changers in their field and achieve $1 million breakthroughs in their businesses. What really drew me to have Elona on as a guest is just the way that she has married together spirituality and entrepreneurship and being a heart-led leader. And I'm really interested to learn from her. She has a very, very an impressive bio, and I'm going to read it to you, but I want you to understand that really what drew me into her was the heart that she was expressing. She seems really cool. One of the things about her, she has a track record of just really assisting elite business owners achieve success, I think, through a unique perspective that I'm interested in learning about. She's also a best-selling author of numerous books, and she's a global keynote speaker. She shares her insights on purpose-driven leadership and business success. What I like about some of the things that I've heard her speak about is that she was a former Fortune 500 executive who built and led record-breaking teams in over 20 locations around the U.S. And her programs and consulting encompass billion-dollar corporate strategies combined with speed and agility and the most powerful online marketing strategies of today. And she's a CEO of the Life School, where they help visionary leaders grow legacy purpose-driven businesses through inner alignment, branding, marketing, sales, and team building so that they can maximize their impact and income and do more good in the world. She's teaching visionary purpose-driven leadership, heart-led. Her books include Connecting the Dots Backward, Purpose-Driven Entrepreneurship, Connecting the Vision Backwards, Focus on Purpose. And I'm just really looking forward to learning from her. She's like a person who helps us spiritually in our businesses and as community leaders. And she's built an impact-driven community of over 30,000 heart-led entrepreneur visionaries. She's natively Albanian, living in New York for over 25 years. So I'm really interested, as I'm sure you are, to just get to know her, because I think that her message is not going to just be about entrepreneurship. So stay tuned. Don't leave the podcast, because if you're not an entrepreneur, because I think she's really like speaking to women, women have to lead children, men have to lead children and families as well. So it's something that I think will be very impactful for all of us. And I believe she had a lot of struggle to overcome in order to get where she is in life, which can help us all. So without any further ado, here she is. Hey, guys, how are you today? It is Allison from Allison Answers and Lager Counseling Services. As I mentioned in the bio, I have Elona Lopari here, who is a unique guest because she's super, super helpful to the entrepreneurial community. And she will also touch base on all humans' need for purpose, for spiritual alignment, and for how we can connect the profitability in all areas of life with purpose. And I'm planning to sit back and learn from Alana as an elite business owner, as I call myself. So I'm grateful to have you here, Alana. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much, Allison, for having me and for creating such a beautiful community around this podcast. It's an honor to be here.
It is an honor to have you. So let's start off with just a little bit about you. As I know that you're Albanian, correct?
Yes, my origin and my nationality is Albanian.
Yes. And I'm wondering, did you tell us a little bit of your backstory, how you became such a success? I did share all that in the bio, like how you became aligned with this role that you're in.
Yeah, I think I'll start where we moved to the US when I was only 15, the oldest of my siblings. And one of the most important things that I was, I guess, planted with was to chase the American dream, opportunities which my parents didn't have, back to where we come from. And so always that greed or ambition to be able to make something of ourselves and all of that. So I pretty much followed that blueprint without even questioning it because I was so young. With anything else, my parents were not entrepreneurs. So it was kind of set up into get a good degree, get a job, and you'll be happily ever after. So I did the same thing. I got my bachelor's business management and finance, and then I climbed the corporate ladder for a company, Fortune 500 company, which happened to need people in management. So of course I started from entry level, and then moved all the way up. Within the company, I realized I was very entrepreneurial, meaning that I was somebody that always solved problems and could think outside the box, which is why I was promoted every couple of years. I did HR, did marketing, sales, and then I climbed all the way to the C-suite, only to realize that I'd been chasing success for the wrong reasons. A lot of my success was due to my lack of feeling good enough and the fact that I thought that to be loved, I needed to achieve. That was supposed to be my purpose, be productive, be useful, be efficient. So I guess I had an identity crisis and a crash when I was all the way to the top. And I started questioning some things. I started to feel very unhappy. And I couldn't understand why, because on the outside, things looked well. I had my family at that time too. I was managing too many hats and responsibilities until, a little inner voice started coming to me saying that look within, like you got to look at something else, like you're meant for something different, you're meant for something bigger. And you know how the universe always aligns outside circumstances to mirror. Well, now I know that. I did not know that at the time. I ignored everything that I was listening, my insights, because I didn't know how to even listen to it. But the company was acquired by another company and their culture turned completely profit driven. They killed a lot of positions. There was no future anymore. So that was my clue to now figure out, like, okay, what do I like to do now? Like, I know I have a lot of experience. And it didn't feel like I wanted to do another 9 to 5 because I felt like I've been here, done that. So I said, let me try entrepreneurship. Let me try to put my skills to market, start with what I knew, which was executive coaching for women leaders in the C-suite level, and then expand from there. So that's how my journey began into entrepreneurship. And the more I dug into this journey, the more I pretty much looked within to figure out what I wanted to do, how to stay competitive, and how to connect more dots in the business world, because it's completely different when you're out on your own. Even though I always had a business head and leadership was always my strength, when you're out on your own trying to figure out a lot of the different pieces, it really makes you face a lot of your insecurities, uncertainties, fears, and all of that. So I went through the school of life, is what I call it, in the attempt to grow my business. But one thing I realized early on is that I was always going to be fulfilled when I was in always growing and in contribution towards other people. So it kind of connected some of those most important dots, this journey for me, and here I am, still at it. And it's over the years, it's become my mission, and it's really connected to why I think everything that happened to me set me up for this, and probably what's happening now is going to set me up for the next thing that I want to do based on my visions. So
I can tell you I probably have 10 questions, and I'm considering which, because when you share what you just shared, it was like warmth, to my heart, because I'm picturing this, your history and coming here with this drive and like this blueprint that was set up, for you and your family, about success and all of that. And just how God, the universe, just took you, and utilized everything that you worked so hard for, which is just, what you contributed, what you put inside of yourself. And it's just a beautiful story that then you were shifted over to the next level. I'll be honest with you. One of my selfish reasons for having you on was like, wow, this woman's incredible, like, understanding of business. And then it seems like it was a pivot. I'm not sure. Maybe it was always a part of you, but this pivot to now include this purpose, this spirituality, this like, who am I really inside, and listening to that voice. What would you say to, I mean, you could really say it to anyone, but let's say just like an entrepreneur, like every level we get to, we're a novice, right? Mm. You have this whole business background, right? And you worked in a company, but every level we get to, it's like, oh God, I don't know if I don't know how to do this next thing, right? So it's, how do you assist people in listening inwardly, and also not just being profit driven, but also being purpose driven, and then keeping all the systems running and, all the business end. So I know it's a big question, but I'd love to.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful question. And what comes to mind as you're asking that, Allison, is pretty much my journey of going within and figuring out, wait, there's so much more to me, because I was so programmed into the doing, right? And I couldn't ever do the being. And it's now easy to see and understand, because I guess this journey taught me how to tap into my purpose. And that's not something that you get from the outside, because the outside just has a lot of noise. And if you, especially in business, if you're going to do anything that's authentic, innovative, outside the box and all of that, most of my most genius ideas have come from within. And that really helped me. Well, the channel that I utilize was meditation to be able to do so. So I have been meditating many, many years now. And obviously, it's the process of evolution, right? The deeper you go, the more you understand there's so much more inside of you. There's so much more fears that come up. There's so much more trauma that comes up, so many more things. Because as humans, we're always a work in progress. So I realized that there's a whole inner world that is there. And if I was smart enough to work with that and learn how to tap into it and work on my awareness levels, I can always kind of make decisions ahead of time, or make decisions that were aligned with what I wanted to do and what brings me excitement and joy, and where my gifts were and what my experience set me up to do, and all of these things, rather than look at the outside and be like, well, maybe I should just focus on this area and help people on this or that, or decide on business models because it makes money, right? So, and I might hate it. So I started to like really focus on that. And now the work that I do with my clients is all around the alignment of their vision, their mission, and their values. Because especially in today's world, if you're in the service space, you are your business, you are your personal brand. Eventually, later on, as you scale, you could start to detach them, but depending on what stage of growth that you're in, You are the business. So it's really important, especially you want to compete with, AI, or we're living in these market conditions that we are in. Authenticity has become even more important. So really helping my clients to clarify what that means for them, and then matching the business model to that big problem that they want to solve in the world, and the big result that they're able to provide other people in service. That is pretty much the beginning or the starting of the journey, because I can do the strategy, I can do the processes, I can do the marketing channels, the sales processes, the prospect journeys, the client journeys, and that's my system for the profit piece, and the ads and the paid traffic and all of that. But if you're building the wrong thing and you're not happy, then the why is not going to be there, and you're not going to be able to sustain the challenges that you have to grow through to be able to get to the next levels of growth and success that everybody desires. So I said, let's start with the fundamentals and then make sure that we're building something that is really aligned, and we're working on the right foundations to build it as strong as somebody wants, and then use that business for legacy purposes, philanthropy, sell it out or exit one day. You never know where your purpose leads you, right? But build it ahead of time so that your business is independent, but also it's built on structure levels. And then when you have that clarity as a CEO and founder, it's so much easier to align people, the right clients with you, the right team members around you, and all of that, so that it's something that's really meaningful to you. And you're not just, building something for the wrong reason. I've realized that clarifying our reasons and going deep for the reasons and the way to we make decisions, you see that it's a lot of headache in the long term if we just really sit with some of these things, because these are major decisions and they can change the trajectory of where you go with your business.
I'll tell you, Elona, this is really beautiful conversation, because there's 2 points I want to just piggyback on with regard to what you're saying. You're saying something, it's so special, because I have seen that, like, let's say someone who's an entrepreneur, they have a business and they've grown it to a certain point. This is a story I heard several times. Grow it to a certain point, and they're like, I don't understand. I can't get past this particular million mark, whatever it is. I want to get to 10 million. I want to get to 5, wherever they are, right? And they keep returning back to this one place, right? And then when asked the question, what is it you love about your business? What is it that you don't love about your business? Well, I hate managing people, let's say, right? Because it's a headache and blah, blah. But if you have that, like, you love your business, but then you're finding that you're too busy, or you're not happy, like, we're not going to manifest or call the next level. We won't be able to build that because there's like that resistance in us, right? Do you feel like you see that in people? Because I know, like, and also anytime I've ever chased the dollar, it ran away. You know what I mean? But you chase, helping a person, changing lives. You don't have to worry. Money comes, but you have to have, obviously, the business in place and all of that. But
yeah, I love your hashtag behind you, Alice, and the hashtag mission, because we talk about branding in business all the time. But if you have that mission and you're so clear, then that's how you build your brand, right? So you don't have to worry about the mechanics of building a brand, because you are the brand. Your energy, the way that you portray yourself, is going to be the brand at the end of the day, and that's going to attract the people towards you. I see it all the time. Back to kind of what you said, that we stay stuck and we become the bottleneck of our business, because again, we try to try things and then they don't work, and then you go back to safety zone, like comfort zone. It's like, well, then you create the stories like, oh, it doesn't work. I'm not good with people. I invested in this thing and didn't pay out. All of these, right? So instead of doing that, turning everything into lessons, because there's always a lesson. Maybe you're not ready. You didn't have the level of awareness yet to understand, like, that, was not the right move. But honestly, the biggest thing I've seen is self-awareness, you knowing where you are strong at, and then getting other people to compliment you. There's plenty of people in the world that are good with the systems part, or maybe the HR part, or maybe the leadership part, right? So I don't think that, especially in today's world, I think the most smartest thing that you can do in business is know yourself. Because the more you know what are your top strengths and where is your main gift, the more you can bring about other people to complement your abilities as well. That's what makes a great leader, not that you're going to go and learn about everything. And yes, if something is worth learning, like leadership, and you are, opening yourself up and learning about it, just everything is a skill at the end of the day. The more you do it, the more you get good at it. So if it's worth it, if it makes sense to you and it's really connected to the bigger thing you want to do, then invest in learning, invest in improving yourself in that area. But also consider that if it's you really hate it, there's other people that you can open up the seat to that can really appreciate the fact that through your company, they can also utilize their talents and their experiences, and they're born for something that maybe you not really that's an area of improvement for you. So that's what leadership is at the end of the day, and there is no such thing as scaling without leadership. That's why I wrote about leadership for my advanced seasoned businesses, which are more within the 1 to 10 million revenue, because at that point, once you structure the company, systematize, automate, do all the stuff you can, then at the end after that is just people. How to get the right people everywhere, how to make sure everything works together, everybody united towards that common vision, mission, and under the same set of values. And your job becomes to be the chief person that pretty much holds everything together and makes sure that people are going in the right direction. But creating spaces and positions and roles based on people's gifts, I have learned is the best thing that you could do. And it's the only way to scale, because we talked about freedom a little bit before we started this podcast. Business can be a jail. You can hate your business if you don't learn the skill of communication and leadership, because at that level, it's all about communication and leadership and putting the right people in the right seats. Because then you're just going to be the one that's micromanaging everything. And then you have a job, and that's how companies stay small, because they don't want to go through the change management that's needed. But there's plenty of support, there's plenty of consultants, plenty of coaches, plenty of people that can really give you another perspective and insight based on their experience. I think business owners and entrepreneurs, they don't know what they don't know. So that's usually why they get stuck. They don't always know what is the right problem to solve.
Yes.
That's kind of what I've seen, because you could focus all your energy on the wrong problem and in the wrong phase and stage of your growth, and you're never going to get the results. So there's tons of professionals out there. So as long as you clarify what is that next step, then you can gain support if that's not your area of expertise, or you're missing some of the knowledge that you need to know to get there.
Hey, guys, how are you? Isn't that amazing? This story that we're hearing on this show is great. I want to just give a shameless plug of my book. I would really want people to have a good look at my book and to understand what it really is. I used to be ashamed to plug my book, and then I realized, how is that right? To keep the information, the 30 years of experience that I have, the 8 years of education, the trauma that I grew out of and learned how to manage, and how to manage emotion, all the training I've had in neuroscience and quantum physics. How can I keep that from the public? So it's not, I used to think it was like something I should, be humble about, but being humble is silly when you're keeping things away from people that they need. So what I want to tell you about my book, and I hope that you do get it, because I think it will really help you. I've gotten a lot of tremendous feedback about my book, and that it's really, really of great value to a lot of people. And what it is, it's an interactive read, and there's inside of it, there's journal entries. So as I'm teaching and going through the book and teaching you how to create the life you want by understanding how you're wired, how your thoughts, feelings, how your words, how thoughts are things, and the neuroscience behind it, and how we are programmed from the time we're 0 to 7 years old to live a life of mediocrity or a life of poor design because of meaning that we attached to events when we were children that just became our programming. What I want to tell you is that there is a way out, and it's a simple way. It's very simple. I believe in the simplicity and the grace in healing, and that it doesn't have to be a big work. So I would love it if you'd get my book. It's a best-selling book on Amazon, and it's my first. And I encourage you to get it. It's called The Wake Up Call, an interactive read for building the life you want. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Thanks so much for being on the show, and let's get back to it.
Yeah, I love everything you're saying because, just the different phases of working on the business as opposed to working in the business, right? And then there's been times where I've, leadership changed, right? And then I felt pulled back in to the business, right? And, to be like all of that, like micromanaging because it's not like systems, there's holes in systems and like it's not being run right. And, so it's like, I feel like that probably is to me, getting the right people, like what you're describing is such a key component, right? And I'm curious to know, like from your expertise, like how would you, or how do you, like through this heart leadership, this, and when you're a servant, when you're in a service industry, how do you change roles in a company when people are not best suited? I mean, I know the answer, but I would love to hear your heart in it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know what to do, but like when there's resistance to, let's say to let someone go, or resistance, like I believe in mentoring and helping people, but at what point, do you have to part ways? And I'm just curious to hear about that from you. Cause
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
mhm.
I think it's back to knowing your people and being a very good observant to
Yeah.
understand what might be some of the challenges that come across their way and really helping getting their perspective. I've learned over my years with teams and leadership that it's all about how they think about maybe some of the things that might be holding them back, right? Because you'll discover so much from just asking really smart questions.
Yeah.
And then you can have a better outlook or insight as to what are some of the gaps that they might be experiencing. Is it training? Is it performance? Is it they lack the tools that they need, right? Because again, we don't want to solve the wrong problem and go straight to the next step, which might not even be the right thing to do. So asking really smart questions in leadership it's important to get that clarity in conversations, right? So what's getting in your way, right? What do you think you're doing well? What could be, what kind of support do you need to be able to improve this or that? Just asking those questions gives you so much insight into the root of the cause of the problems. Because again, if we don't ask these questions, then we'll just jump in the gun and we think that this surface thing is the problem, but your problem is deeper.
Yeah.
And that way you gain more insight on some of the other issues that you might be experiencing in your company. So that's what I would say. Everything for me always begins with a conversation. And then don't take action. Like I've learned that I always thought like, oh, you have to have a solution for everything. No, just sit with it, have a conversation, and then marinate and process the information, because through that process of just being and sitting with it, you can come up with, okay, I think this would be the next step that I'm able to take to be able to support this person, or maybe, this person might not be the right fit, because that's the thing with humans. It's the process of evolution. Maybe somebody's performing really well at a certain place and stage of your business growth, but they're not necessarily the right person. If you have done your due diligence in training and all of that, then, maybe that's not the right person for the next
Yeah.
space. But we have to be honest, and we have to be aligned with people, and we have to, have these open-hearted conversations. Otherwise, it just gets very frustrating for both parties, because then you're just having difficult conversations, which you don't need to really have. Or maybe there's opportunities for this person to grow into that role, but it's all about training, coaching, opening up those conversations, and then sitting with a solution. I've learned that it's really important. and not trying to force problem solving right away. If nothing really is coming up for you to problem solve at the moment, and just taking time to follow back up with people and make them part of the collaborative process of brainstorming. I think that really helps both parties.
I love the way you think because, as you're saying, I do. It's as you're saying this, what's going on as I'm hearing it, I'm thinking about, okay, as a therapist, a therapist is an expert. They should be an expert question asker to bring out, what is the root cause? It's like what you're saying. So it's a similar thing. You should really help someone to understand themselves, your employee, and also for you to understand them. But what I love also, I'm also a meditator. And I believe all of the answers are in here. Like I do believe they come from, a creator, but they're here. So I think we rush to all the next thing. I'm going to fix this, and then, but the most power is in that silent moment, taking a walk outside, allowing the information to come, the truth to come. And I love that because I have been very, they say, hire slow, fire fast, they'll say that, but I have not been that. I mean, I believe I do believe in that, if somebody's a Cancer, but I also believe that everything is my fault, meaning, it's all my responsibility. So if something's not, happening right, with someone who's working there, I'm always looking inward and saying, what did I miss? Wait, are they too busy? Am I being clear? Like, what am I missing? And I think I overdo that, Elona, like almost like make it more to the point where I'm not maybe, because I really don't want to make a mistake and be like, correcting someone in an area where maybe they weren't trained enough, or I haven't been clear enough, whatever that is, So anyhow,
Thank you for sharing that, Allison. I see it all the time. And see, sometimes we think that, right? Even in business, we're like, well, I'm the business person and I understand like how my company runs. I know how my team runs. But it's, even though a lot of our skills are transferable, it's emotional. We don't see our blind spots, right? Because for most of us, we put so much energy into growing any something, so it becomes like a personal thing. And then, we kind of can't see clearly, objectively, sort of what could be the next problem that is being experienced. And yeah, I think it's a good balance of looking within for sure and owning it. But I think also opening up the conversation with with the people around you gives you so much insight into, okay, so then maybe it is a communication issue, maybe it is a training issue, maybe, it's that somebody might be missing engagement, or they don't believe in the work they're doing anymore, or they might have personal problems. I've seen personal problems so much. Yes, right? But unless we do our due diligence to uncover, like it's almost like we're the investigators to uncover the right root causes, then we're always going to be just chasing fires. And our life will become that, just reacting to everything that goes wrong in the business. And you're never going to ever get down to the depth of root causes of things that are the best things you could do, because then you can sustain things and things can become so much easier. But when you're always reacting and just solving the next fire, you're always in reactive mode, and you're always going to be doing that. And the quality of your decisions is definitely going to struggle because you think this is the problem and it's completely something else. So I think working, outside of the business is very helpful before.
Yeah. And, that's applicable to, everything in our life, right? When we're reactive. I do know that you are on a time schedule, and I don't want to cut off at this point because I'm loving this conversation, but I'm just going to kind of shift into, closing out our call. And do you have anything that you feel strongly about that you would like to share with the audience? Anything that's on your mind that you want to summarize with?
Yeah, I think what's coming up for me, especially based on our conversation, is to reach out for help. A lot of the times we're very hard on ourselves, especially as women. We're perfectionists. We want to do everything on our, on our own. Reach out for, people that have the capabilities, if we are lacking certain things, and be honest with yourself on that, because that's the only way to grow. But also, understand that if we are emotionally too attached to certain things, then we have the blind spots that we don't see. So getting support from others, again, I think it's really important. But follow your North Star. I think anything that excites you is always the right thing to focus on. If something is giving you a good energy, follow that, because that's usually really aligned with where you're going. And, all the advice around don't compare yourself to others and stay in your own lane and all of that. I think it's also helpful, especially in the journey of entrepreneurship, where anything and everything could come our way to distract us.
Yes. So being such an expert in business and, marrying together, your feminine energy and the things that you describe is just such a nice mixture. It's really cool. So, I want to honor you and thank you. And I want to ask the audience to please, first of all, everything will be in the show notes, but also for you to share where people can find you, what is the best way to connect and know more about you. You're a speaker, you have written multiple books, and as you can see in this conversation, Elona, to me, she's like a wealth of wonderful information, but it's not just information. I feel it. I'm like, oh, I want to cry. I feel well, she can help me, So I would love for you just to share how they could connect with you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Alison. I feel the same thing, because I'm also somebody that is I try to intuitively connect to my conversations, the people that I'm speaking to, but I've always been a dot connector. That's my gift. So I connect dots in business and people together. It's really what I've discovered throughout my journey. And they could go to my website, elonaloparicoaching.com. And I'm all about service and giving, and really seeing how is it that I can add value. So they'll find really great resources on there, based on their interest, whether it's clarifying their purpose and connecting that with profit, or a masterclass I put together on how to connect the profit piece with the different fundamental pillars that you want to focus on to scale an independent company. So they'll find those resources on my website at elonaloparicoaching.com.
Is it okay if I ask you about that masterclass, or do you want to run?
Sure. It's going to be a free resource. When you go to the website, it'll be a pop-up, a free 90-minute masterclass, which helps you build a purpose-driven company. So that's the title of the masterclass.
Yeah. I just really want to encourage, everyone to do that. I'm going to do it. So I just really value your time, and I thank you for being here. And if anyone wants to seek, do you actually do coaching for entrepreneurs now? Is that something that you do? Should I?
Yeah, I offer private consulting for entrepreneurs looking to scale their businesses. Yep.
Yeah, beautiful. So again, I just want to thank you. And I ask everybody, would you please, I do not monetize this podcast, but as just an honor to this wonderful guest and to the continued work that we do here, I ask that you would share any person who you feel would gain value from Elona. Please share this with them. And could you please subscribe to the YouTube channel, people? I keep saying this because I have low subscribers, but I have a big audience. So I'm like, why aren't you subscribing? So I would really appreciate it if you would. It helps me to do other things. And it really, it would be cool if you would do that for us. Okay. It is a wrap. Guys, thank you so much for listening to the show. I just want to say to you that we are all together a part of the Mission Awake, a mission that's going to stop the mediocrity that's plaguing all of us. So if you got something here today, I ask that you would be a part of this mission and you'd share it with whoever you can. Take a screenshot of the show and share it on your Instagram. If you are looking for me, you can find me on social media platform Instagram, Allison Answers, or Lager Counseling Services. And give us a review and subscribe if you could to YouTube. Allison Answers. That's where you're going to get a lot of content. I drop stuff every day, goofy stuff, all different kinds of stuff. 5-minute videos that just get you moving in your day. Have a great week. See you next time.